Have you ever wondered why the Arctic and Antarctica, though both situated at the extreme ends of our planet, are starkly different from each other? Well, let's dive in. The Arctic and Antarctica, though both poles apart, are not simply mirror images of each other. The Arctic, located at the top of the planet, is actually a sea surrounded by continents. It's covered by a thin layer of perennial sea ice that thickens during the frigid winters and thins out in the summer. On the flip side, Antarctica, located at the bottom of the globe, is a continent cloaked by a massive ice sheet, and it's surrounded by the Southern Ocean. The ice here is miles thick and holds nearly 70% of the world's fresh water. These geographical differences fundamentally affect the climate, wildlife, and human activity in these regions. So, the Arctic and Antarctica are not just geographic opposites, they are fundamentally different in their composition. Did you know that the ice in Antarctica is over 2.5 miles thick in some places, while the Arctic's ice is only a few meters thick? Yes, you heard it right. These two polar regions, although both icy and cold, are incredibly different. The Arctic ice, floating on the ocean, is relatively thin and seasonal, while the Antarctic ice, sitting on a landmass, is permanent and can be as thick as an 80-story building. Now let's talk about temperatures. Antarctica holds the title for the coldest place on Earth, with temperatures plummeting to a mind-numbing -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Brr, that's colder than a winter's night in Siberia. So, while both the Arctic and Antarctica may seem similar with their icy landscapes, they are, in fact, worlds apart. The Arctic is a frozen ocean surrounded by land, while Antarctica is a frozen continent surrounded by ocean. The ice in these two polar regions is as different as night and day. Despite the harsh conditions, both the Arctic and Antarctica are teeming with life. But did you know the species that inhabit these regions are vastly different? Let's take a journey to these icy extremes and meet some of the inhabitants. The Arctic, a world blanketed in snow and ice, is home to some of the planet's most magnificent creatures. Here you'll find the majestic polar bears, known as the kings of the Arctic, and herds of reindeer, resilient in the face of the harshest winters. Now, let's travel thousands of miles south to Antarctica. This icy desert is far from barren. Here you'll find rookeries of penguins, each one bustling with activity, and seals basking on the ice, undisturbed by the biting cold. These fascinating creatures, each perfectly adapted to their environments, are a testament to the incredible resilience of life on Earth. From the towering polar bears of the Arctic to the waddling penguins of Antarctica, life certainly knows how to adapt and thrive. You might think these remote regions are untouched by human influence, but is that really the case? Let's delve into the human impact on the Arctic and Antarctica. The Arctic, home to indigenous populations, bears the brunt of our actions more directly. With climate change accelerating, the Arctic ice is melting at an alarming rate, influencing not just the local wildlife, but also the people who've lived there for centuries. On the other hand, Antarctica, the coldest, driest, and windiest continent, doesn't host any permanent residents. Governed by an international treaty, it's mainly a hub for scientific research. The footprint of human activity here is more indirect, but still significant. From global warming's impact on ice shelves to the introduction of non-native species, our actions reverberate in this icy wilderness too. So, even in these remote corners of the world, the human footprint is evident. It's our responsibility to minimize our impact and protect these unique ecosystems.